Hello, everyone, and welcome in for our second semi-final match here for DMV Winter 2026. Only two more series to go before we crown a winner. My name is Shiv, joined by Prone, to see which of these two teams are going to punch that final ticket.
Yeah, it's good to be back, Shiv. Good to be back. It's been a long week, and I've been looking forward to some of League of Legends. And this game hopefully does not disappoint. We got two of the best mid laners in the tournament matched up against each other this match. Blue Killers and Zero Domain both having their pop-off moments, both having some low lights as well, I guess. So yeah, this should be. I'm excited to see where this mid lane matchup goes.
Yeah, and I mean, right away, there's the Akali band that hits the board. A bit of respect being paid to Luke Killers as is tend to do. Jarvan banned away as well, but also some key picks from Hide on Bush banned away early with no Jarvan and no Graves.
That's what I like to see. All the focus going on to mid and jungle for both of these teams with the extra Draven ban, of course, for Rexes. Immediately Sion locked in. Not a common B1 these days. Sion, of course, is a great champion, but I feel like there are higher priority champions. I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are playing with subs in the top lane, at least for game one. Big Back Chuds, I believe, have Flays, and Soy Kid'll have Doctor Patient. So maybe just wanted to make sure they get a weak side for their subs player, as we see the Mundo response from SPS could go to Hide on Bush, could go to the top lane, maybe, if we want to be technical.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, the Sion could also be a flex. Could go jungle, could go mid. In theory. But so far, flex picks coming out. That's been a pretty big shift in the meta towards these flex pick champions that are really flexible, especially on blue side. Picking them on B4 gives you a lot of power in that B5 pick when it comes to the second phase of draft. And the Corki here, taking another champ away from Rex's, but also just something Soyblake is comfortable on. No surprise there.
Yeah, we're likely to see a bot lane response from the Chuds here, as, I mean, Corki's best pairing is Nami, so it would behoove the Chuds to go with the other fish pairing and get the Lucian Nami there for Rex's and potential 5.
Yeah, but this now opens up the Nautilus. We have a sub for Kurokiket, so it's not normally the enchanters in the bot lane. And I think Cameron did it up. The Nautilus is going to be picked. So this is the #1 counter to Nami. Her hardest matchup on paper, and is a great pairing with Corki as well. So that is a pretty lethal combination in Corki Nautilus down there.
Yeah, I mean, with the anchor, Nautilus does make a pretty good fisherman, so somewhat lower accurate counter there as well, but does mean that mid lane and the jungle position, something we really have our eye on with Blue Killers, with Hide on Bush, with Zero Domain, with Dundee, who has not played a lot with Big Back Chuds. He has been subbed out more games than he's been in thus far. Has only played Zac and Vi for his team. So I am curious to see how the jungle position goes, given that we've seen a few bans tossed this way and now more towards the mid lane.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see Soul Predator Slayers taking mid on R5, since this is the focal matchup of the entire series. So we will have to, unfortunately, in my predictions, we will probably see the Mundo flex being revealed here if it is jungle or if it is going top. There is still some Doug champs left, but Kha'Zix being taken away is a good one. So Mundo most likely will go to the jungle. I don't know what else Doug has really shown this tournament.
Yeah,
besides these 4 core champs.
Yeah, we can maybe go down to like Wukong. He's also played a couple power clears in the jungle, but there's the Ornn, which technically could be in the jungle, but I think we do now know that it's going to be a wet noodle fight up top side with the Mundo in the jungle.
Yeah, that flex being revealed now. And that shows that this is a horrendously strong front to back team fight comp that scales double tanks for Soul Kiddo Predator Slayers. This also shows that Big Back Chuds will also maybe go double tank. You did mention the Zac earlier, and it'll be locked in.
Yeah, both top teams with very good front lines, but I definitely don't like Lucian's odds right now of being able to take them down. So would definitely like some consistent damage from the Chuds. I think Cassio or Victor makes a bit of sense here, even if you're maybe a bit susceptible to counter picks. I am really not a fan of the Ari, even if it's a signature champion of Zero Domain. It is going to be locked in. I am a bit worried about that consistent damage against the Big Orn, against the Big Mundo here for the Chuds.
Well, this is gonna be there's gonna be like a combined like 2 million damage this game. I'm calling it. This Zac and Mundo are just gonna heal non-stop on the other two tanks in the game. And I'm curious to see what they will pick in the mid lane. Talia is available, not bad into pretty good into Ari, not bad into the rest of the team. Some other mages available too, like Rise. A little bit less conventional for loot killers, but I do like it too. So overall, I agree with you that I don't really see the DPS coming out of Big Back Chuds, but they do have a lot more backline access, right? So it's a little bit of a trade-off. If they can execute and hit the backline, they won't need that DPS. They can just get away once they kill their priority targets. But if Soy Kid or Predator Slayers are able to find the engage first with that Ornhorn, with the Realm Warp, and execute their front to back cleanly, then yeah, it's definitely in their favor. Really, we'll have to see on Dundee and Zero Domain, this dive duo, to see what they can do.
Yeah, I do like the Rise pick for some of those reasons, right? Where I think something like Talia is, while nice into Zac, while nice into Scion, isn't quite as high DPS as you want, because then maybe you open yourself up to where, okay, if Ari gets her assassination off on the Corki, then things get dicey. But Rise, a true, legitimate late game threat when he gets to that 2-item, 3-item point in the game, to where you need to find a way to take out both of them. And Rise will probably have the empowered Merc Treads, will have Aroa providing him health. He is going to be a good bit stickier in these fights, even if that initial start from an Ari, from a Zac, get in on top of him.
Yeah, another thing that's really important is Soul Kid Predator Slayers only have the Mundo for self-sustain. Meanwhile, this Nami can just pump out heals for days with Maiko Diadem, Maiko Echoes of Helia, Redemption, super great this game. And Redemption not a super common engage support item anymore either. So the value of Nami is very, very high this game. That being said, if she does just get anchored, then it will be like that, I guess. So I don't know. Everything really rides on Dundee and Zero Domain here. This game, especially, is really important because this game immediately has eliminated so many important champions from the pool. You know, Fearless is a fantastic thing that has happened to League of Legends esports. We're seeing so much champ variety now, and this Mundo, Scion, Ornn, Zac being gone means game 2 will be spicy too. Maybe Cassante will be picked up, I guess, but like the pool is wide open. So a lot more diversity to see in game 2 as well once these beef balls are gone.
Absolutely. And I mean, we do get the tank off between the subs and the top side, where attention probably is not going to get drawn there too often. You did mention Camper coming in as a sub on the side of Soy Kiddo Slayers as well. And then I kind of consider Dundee a sub at this point, just because he has not played much with the team. Maybe has in scrims. It hasn't really happened on game day where his schedule is lined up. So, I mean, Zac is definitely a pick that is very powerful. If you get to those later stage fights, you're very difficult to kill. You can come in and gank from any angle to start your fights off. So bringing out a signature pick will definitely perhaps help as he, hasn't played a bunch against anyone, at least on stage. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're on to the Rift for our first semifinals game here between SPS and BBC. And to see which of these two teams will face off against the Silk Road Shaitans in that grand final.
Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward 5v5 game. Shouldn't expect too much funny business happening in the early game. Both junglers opting to pad down, no surprise. And this bot lane will be pretty volatile. Nautilus doesn't really want to just sit back and let Nami sustain, let Lucian farm. He really wants to get in the face of this Lucian Nami and make it uncomfortable for this fish to just sit there.
And Rex's potential 5, no slouches when it comes to the more aggressive lanes, right? Rex is always drawn that Draven band, so they're more than capable of playing for lane. But a nice dredge line in, and Nami is going to just be able to retreat. It is just level 1, so not much for Camper and Soyblake to force there.
Great trade already. That dredge line hitting level 1. I've seen a couple Nautiluses opt to start with the W level 1 and just take it a little bit rough level 1, but just start all inning immediately level 2 once they get QW. Because saving your HP on every single hook matters a lot more than really getting these small trades, especially for your AD carry. He's not going to be able to trade as efficiently level 1, even if it is a Corki.
Yeah, Corki has shown this season to be solid in lane as Dr. taking a rough end of the Desming smash, popping some potions, but a flash forward is traded out. So not enough damage from the Scion as they just trade summoners.
You know, forget everything I just said, Shiv. It looks like top lane will be all the action this game. the fist fighting. That's what we love to see out of these tanks.
Yeah, so Blase definitely not afraid of going for those lethal plays, despite getting hit with the, hey, we're just going to pick you Scion first. Great, we're going to be weak side. No, it's going to cause some action. So takes the early recall, teleports back. It will be hide on bush out first to the bot crab. Zach a bit slow on these initial clears. We'll see if hide on bush is willing to just like send it up towards that top side scuttle. And he will, but Soy Blake and Camper should be fine. But now strolling into the mid lane comes hide on bush. Gets a flash out from Zero. Don't know if that was entirely needed, but we do need some action in the bot side as the stretch from the Zac forcing a flash out of Soy Blake.
Yeah, I don't really think Soy Blake needed to flash, but respect it. He'll still be able to lane, saving a lot of HP after using the flash, but they should have respected the timer, especially. They knew that hide on bush took that scuttle already, and I don't think they would expect Dundee to be pathing top on Zac in this kind of matchup, so they knew he had to be hovering around. And they will have to burn the flash for that.
Yeah, I mean, Dundee getting double crab, definitely not great. So if you're Soy Blake and Camper, feel like your role there is just don't give him anything, no matter what, because Mundo can definitely get a good lead off of the fact that he's been able to double crab. He'll get out to the third crab faster. It is level 6, is empowered despite all that nonsense. So we'll see. I mean, hide on bush. This is a player that has been super good so far in DMV. He had a lot of his signature picks banned away during draft, and Mundo definitely doesn't feel like a hide on bush champ. Doesn't feel like a champion that he's really going to be able to get in there and pop off, take someone's head off. It goes a bit counter to what we've seen him play and succeed on throughout this split.
Yeah, I agree. He had one Mundo game this season. It looks kind of rough. But hide on bush is just this super skirmish heavy assassin selfish play style, which Mundo is kind of selfish, but doesn't really have the high mobility, high burst style that these assassins have. So I agree. But that being said, Mundo is still in terms of jungle specifically, relatively still up his wheelbarrow. He plays these champions that are very high farming and can punish enemy junglers very heavily. So you can see that if Dundee ever makes a mistake, hide on bush will just run the entire jungle quadrant over and over. And look, he's already up 3 camps on him and taken the dragon.
Yeah, Dundee gonna be in a bit of a hole to start this game as Camper and Soy Blake trying to get this wave in. Bubble misses, but here comes the Zac flash out from Camper. Soy Blake is without flash, but he's putting out damage because hide on bush has arrived, and he's got that level 6 advantage, and Rex is trying to kite him out, but a briefcase to the face gets first blood to the Mundo. And now Dundee, without much to do, tries to find the Q back, does get a return kill onto Soy Blake. Now he's down to pass Meanwhile in mid lane at the last bit of HP. It is Zero Domain finding the kill, as now Dundee, out of his cell division, wants to go for more plays, and he finds 2 kills on the back end.
Oh my god, and this is just a preview of how the fights are going to go for the rest of this game. These fights, anytime an engage happens, the fight is going to be like 2-3 minutes long, maybe. They're going to have to write like a whole 3-episode trilogy for every like engage that happens. And in the mid lane, Luke Killers tried to skill check Zero Domain, but couldn't flash that charm in time. So that was this duel of the mid laners already starting. Zero Domain 1-0 up on him now too.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. I thought that bot play was going to go completely sideways for the Chuds. You know, Mundo has the ult advantage. You know he's going to be there. I didn't think it was going to go all too great. But coming out of the Zac cell division, I was like, okay, it's 1 for 1. I think that's better than you maybe expected. But then the Zac is able to get in for 2 extra kills on the back half of it. He's not going to like race towards a first item or anything because he's kind of splitting up to get the bombies for clear and then eventually get the protobelt for his actual item. So not entirely accelerated, especially given that hide on bush has a huge farm lead and picks up a kill himself.
Yeah, that being said, Zac is still pretty scary as a stat check champ in his own right. And Soy Blake really has to accelerate himself if he's going to want to be able to deal with both Scion and Zach. If one of them can tank up the initial front-loaded damage from Corki, then the other one will just be able to run straight through everyone else and get to him, right? It's not like Mundo is the greatest peel champion.
And, well, Luke Hills is not going to have much peel for himself in the mid lane. He took half his HP to an Ahri, and Zac comes in to clean it up, and as a second death for the Rise.
Yeah, wait, Luke Killers also has Conquer this game. So as much as you would understand in theory that Conquer is super great in this kind of game, the real game plan for Rise is you have to dodge everything first before you can do damage. Right?
Well,
the Dredgeline land.
Yeah, the fish is caught on the hook, and Hide on Bush is going to make his way forward and pick up that kill. Rex's culling gets Soy Blake very low, but not low enough to kill him.
Oh, great pick from Camper on Duty. They're going to make him suffer in this bot lane even more. Hide on Bush is just controlling the map. Look at the jungle difference right now. Both of his sides are cleared. He has the entire enemy red side as the teleport comes out.
Yeah, and the briefcase plus the Corki damage is enough. Zero Domain trying to TP down here for something, but Luke Hill is realm warped down himself. Hide on Bush off to a great start. Potential 5 lurking around as Zac is in the wings charging up the slingshot, and Luke Killers is going to get caught on it. So Zac trying to cash in for another kill, gets the slow with the Q, but there's nothing to hit him against. The bubble has to be the kill secure, as even Sion teleported on down there.
5-man bot at 9 minutes. A little bit interesting. I feel like Zero Domain should have just left it and just tried to salvage what he could mid. It was really, really hard to deal with Hide on Bush down there, and Dundee just went straight from the hair or the grubs down to his red side, so he couldn't even punish Hide on Bush on the cross map, right? So yes, they did get Luke Killers out of it, but realistically, Dundee did not get ahead out of this information advantage he had this whole time. He knew that Hide on Bush was just sitting, waiting for this bot lane, and instead he went even or behind even as Hide on Bush got a kill in that dive, right? And he just takes his bot side, but now Hide on Bush takes the whole jungle again. He did not get punished on any camps. So, yeah, they defended bot lane. They didn't lose plates. They got 1 kill back, but this Mundo is still super accelerated.
And it does feel like they were maybe trying to have their cake and eat it too, right? You go for that mid lane play, you get a good pick on Luke Killers. Now your Zac's going top, and you just need to know that you're now giving the angle for a dive on bot side. You can't be everywhere all at once. Zero Domain tries to salvage a play, doesn't get much. As a nice Q off of the ward from Dundee, and now hitting up Camper. The dredge line can't get him to safety. The tank from Hide on Bush isn't enough against the Culling as they find that kill. But now Luke Killers is here to the play first, and so is Sion. He runs them down with the onslaught as it is trading across the rift for the kills. Hide on Bush will be able to get out, but it is the Chuds winning out with the top lane help.
I love that roam from Flaze. This is exactly why Sion is the best weak side champion in the game. Yeah, I'm against Ornn. I don't care if he gets some tower plays. I don't care if he crashes a wave in. I will ult to the opposite side of the map so my team does not die and we can kill them. And that's all that matters in this tank matchup. And he can scale for free once the wave bounces back, right? Like, sure, he might get bullied a little bit now that this Ornn is ahead of him, but the Sion is not the win con. So the great roam from Flaze up in the top lane.
Yeah, really nice stuff there out of the Sion. And on the side of the Predator Slayers, I'm just a bit critical of trying to opt in for this rather than just letting Camper die, right? Like, Hide on Bush maybe feels a bit strong as Dr. Patience feeling strong with the Ornhorn in top side, layering the Brittle procs, but I think Flaze should be able to get out of this one until Lucas comes on up. He's Deathspank Smash. There's no minion wave here. They need to find the extra damage, and they do with the Rise Ornn combo. And so Luke Killer is able to get something back despite having a collection of gems and garage sale as his items.
Great round warp. Does have to drop a lot mid now. So now this is the trade that you have to think. Yeah, Luke Killers dropped the wave and gave a play to this Ahri. But Luke Killers is not going to be able to get a lot off that play. He gets a kill, I guess, but he doesn't get any XP and any additional gold out of it. So you're really down from that trade. If he was to just stay top and farm another play, crash another wave in, that'd be much better, but not Dundee. Great dodge.
Yeah, good stuff from Soyblake to Valk out of that one. As I do like how Dundee has been playing this game, acknowledging that, hey, I'm gonna fall down farm because I got double crabbed on the early clear. Mundo's gonna kind of loot me, but hey, I'm gonna play through my winning lane. I'm gonna play to where this Corki has no flash, this Nautilus has no flash for a lot of this game, and we're gonna make plays around where we are strong. So I've liked that, at least from Dundee, even if he is down a sizable bit of gold individually in his matchup.
Yeah. Soy Blake staying stable in the bot lane is all he really needs. Then this Mundo is off to the races as Dragon has started.
Yeah, Mundo trying to just work his way in there, and he smites it. Potential 5 now dead as well as Zach finds a 2-man knockup, Zero Domain trying to get backline access, but Hide on Bush is just too tanky. The Cell division comes out for the Zach, and they can't kill off the Mundo. Finally, the Foxfire will get it done as Rex's was left alone, but now he's gonna die. Dundee comes up from the division, and Soy Blake still lives through it all. It is a mess in the bot lane, but it is a mess that the Predator Slayers are more than happy with.
The fact that they got the Dragon on top of that is the icing on the cake. They win the fight and get the Dragon too. So Pine on Bush, you saw, he just kind of waltzed in there and bonked the Dragon on the head and got it. And almost lived if it wasn't for Zero Domain. But it took the whole kitchen sink from the side of Big Back Chuds to kill Pine on Bush. So they got one reset for the Ahri, but it wasn't enough to win the fight. Soy Blake now 3-1-4. This Corki is now accelerated too. And compared to this Lucian, does massive amounts of damage in every fight.
Absolutely, and 2 dragons in the pocket of the Predators will serve the most. We have action up top side. Dundee not able to find the slingshot, but Patient missing the charge as well. A nice buffer on the Brittle, but needs to get that Ornhorn down and does find it. Dr. Patient will at least get something out of the situation as Zero Domain hits the Charm onto Lucas, but the Rise is pretty empowered to go forward because he's got his jungler behind him, and Zero Domain has to burn the ult.
Yeah, Luke Killer is really starting to stonewall the Ahri. We can see why. Oh my.
Yeah, now with Ghost, Lucas just wants to walk him down, hits the overload, and gets some vengeance off the earlier solo kill.
Okay, Luke Killers. I was not familiar with your game. Your counter pick eventually worked. That was a rough first 4 deaths, but now we are turning the tides a little bit. And yeah, this whole top side starting to swing in favor. Culling comes out.
Culling chunks out Luke Killers a ton, but a nice hook from Camper. Rex is underneath the tower, and he just goes a bridge too far. Now Potential is going to get caught out for sure. The bubble is nice, but there's not too much to do. Meanwhile, topside, Sion ran over Luke Killers with the ultimate, so we say some good things, unfortunately. It is a 5th death for Luke Killers, but Soy Blake even more so accelerated in this game.
Yeah, Luke Killers has to get the last laugh. And unfortunately runs it down to the Scion. Good thing is the Scion is the one getting the goal.
It's a flash bounce from Dundee to secure the shutdown. Camper tried to interrupt it, didn't quite go his way. So Zach staying up there in the kill department as well.
Yeah, that's 700, almost 800 gold over to the Zach. And the Zach is a threat. Like, Protobelt done. If he can get in the middle of everyone, Mundo is not at the point yet where he can just sustain everyone on the team and not die, right? So you knock out Mundo a tiny bit, you CC up Soy Blake and Luke Killers as Zero Domain.
Yeah, there's ult is available. He doesn't get away from the anchor in time. Is able to find the return kill onto Camper, and now is just gonna double dash out to safety. Meanwhile, Dr. Patient up top side is trying to get some trading done onto Flays. Dundee and the rest of the Chuds are arriving to defend their mid laner and make sure Zero Domain stays well.
All the action happened in bot lane, Shiv. This is where you want to be if you want to be at war. And we can see exactly why this Nautilus is so powerful into Lucian Nami. With a strong AD carry like Corki, just one hook and your whole HP bar could be gone.
Taking stock now. We almost have a second item completed on the Corki. I have to imagine that's gonna give SPS a lot of confidence around this dragon about to spawn.
2K gold up, not anything to write home about, but a sizable advantage. Most of it, I feel like, is on this Ornn, actually. Corki pretty strong as well. But Dundee and Zero Domain are also very powerful. And at this point in the game, this is kind of where you want your gold. Ari and Zac, incredibly strong team fighters, and all of the execution really rests on them. So, pretty good spot to have the gold. As all 5 members of Big Bag Chuds are sitting in the bot side river ready to start the fight.
Yeah, they're holding control of the banana brush. They get the canister off of the Mundo. Decimating Smash zones the rest of the team away. So just a bit of a standoff. Zero now going to go forward. Finds the charm onto Soyblake and all that gold down the gutter. The Ornn is not going to get anything back because Zero Domain is just going to dash right in on top of him. And Dundee's there alongside. It's 4-0. And Dragon to the side of BBC.
Soyblake, what are you doing, brother? You just may have tossed the game. The goal's dead even now, so I guess game is back to normal. But one extra drag going over to Big Back Chuds, stopping the stacking for SPS. And everyone dying resets the momentum entirely. Huge pick from Zero Domain. Just skill checking Soyblake straight up.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're jostling around that banana brush for the objective, someone's got to get in the way of that. Someone cannot just let a straight dash charm with no slows, no CC hitting Soyblake beforehand. You can't let that happen. And so it is still an even game. Still plenty of time for SPS to get their comp to work. I was a bit surprised that they wanted to fight so bad for this, given that Rise hadn't completed the stacking on his Roa. You don't have the Man Immune yet on your Corki, but they have some damage here for the Scion as the last bit of Brittle procs. Item Bush going to try to walk this one down, and even the big boys can take out the Scion. And yeah, I mean, a lot of the money is on the Ornn with all the roaming Scion did in the early game. That entire top tower just went to the Ornn. So Dr. Patient in a pretty strong position, even if you would maybe prefer the gold to be somewhere else, he's still putting it to good use.
Yeah, Item Bush also having a considerable amount of gold is pretty good as well. And you can see that the Scion has Heartsteel, and typically this is not a Scion item. Scion gets a lot of HP naturally, so you don't really need HP. You really want to stack resist to go with the HP you're getting naturally. So more HP is probably worse for you, as both Mundo and Ornn do percent health damage. Great hook.
Yeah, Zero's going to try to kite this out. Burns the flash, but Soyblake follows suit to lock down the kill. Now Dundee charging up over the side, has the slingshot into the tidal wave. Rex is trying to put in the last bit of damage. A nice play out from the Zac. And he's on a killing spree now as the culling is just barely going to take down Camper on Dewey. Now Dr. Patient trying to get in here, but it's just the tanks. Lucas now has to provide the damage, and he gets it onto potential 5. Here comes Flare around the corner, but it's Dundee and the rest of the Chuds being pushed back. The onslaught doesn't find anything. Now they're on top of Rex's, but he has the barrier. He's kiting it out fine, but the Rise is just not able to find the damage until the last Q hits onto Rex's, but Dundee Zac just keeps on healing. The Mundo passive, ultimate, is going to time out eventually. As now Blast Plant all over the place. We're going to get a TP back into the fray. Item Bush needs to put the suit back on. The ult has expired. And it is a 9-kill Zac on the Rift.
Play the Yakety Sax, Shiv. I said these fights are going to be 3 minutes long. It might even be long. All I can hear in my head at this point in the game is just Heartsteel going off nonstop. Like, just Mundo and Scion just bonking everyone. And that sound of ringing in my eardrums. No one was dying for like a minute straight. Zero Domain has to burn the ult again. But we saw the fight started on that mid turret. A great pick on the Zero Domain. Soyblake got his get back. But the nightmare of all 80 carry players is this goddamn Zac champion, bro. He just initiates on anyone from 3,000 units away, CCs you for 4 seconds straight, and the tidal wave on top. You can't even play the game. Look, Soyblake even has Merc Treads and just got one shot from those two champs together. So that was a great pick. But these extended fights, I feel like at this point of the game, will always go in the favor of Big Back Chuds.
Yeah, and Soyblake definitely, even though he was popped at the beginning, did see all the value that the Zac was collecting throughout the fight with his passive. So we've got Executioner's Calling eventually getting built up there for Soyblake as hoping to do some better work against these tanks. As here comes the Ornhorn. Rex's uses the dash early. He's going to get hit by the ult, hit by the briefcase. We'll even drop a depth charge, but it is Dr. Patient with that kill 50 seconds ahead of the Dragon spawn. But they're pinging on Baron.
Yeah, I think they might be able to call their bluff, but Dundee, this is a great place for him to engage again. Baron for teams for an enemy team against a Zac, this is great for him. He wants everyone to be clumped up, right? So we'll see if they can test.
Yeah, Zac's going to try to get in there. Zero Domain looking for his angle as well, but it's going to be the Ornn chunked out a little bit, and Baron resets as Bush turned fully off of it. We're now going to try to go back in on top of it as the Patient is going to get stunned up into the pit. Goes the Zac, but he can't find the smite. Now trying to bounce, trying to find some angle of success, and he's just going to walk out. He's able to survive for now, but here comes the damage from the Rise. Blase trying to tank it up on the front side, but it's Camper first to die. They trade out for the Zac. Hide on Bush, now just walking forward, looking to take out the enemy mid laner. The Realm Warp is nice, but the Charm does find the response kill. It is a quadra kill for Lou Killer's Rise through it all. And Baron, most importantly, to the side of SPS.
These fights are so entertaining to watch. Won't be able to end the game off of this, but there's a third dragon picked up and possibly this tier 2, so now this Rise is super accelerated too, probably has the actualizer sitting in base waiting for him, and Luke Killer's baited Soyblake into the Realm Warp as a dummy for them to take aggro so he can run around and just EQ. But this Rise off to the races now. Mundo hitting 16. This guy is unkillable as well. These two stat check champs are just going to start running every fight.
Yeah, I feel like Luke Killer's charging up that realm. Like, yeah, guys, it's good. Let's go, get in. Oh, but please be sure you're in front of me. Please, Soyblake after you. As now Dundee is in with a slingshot onto Patient. Nothing's going to come of that. No stuff from the Ornn. But yeah, it was a bit of a rough start from Luke Killer's. But now that he's getting the items underneath him, bit of an odd choice to take the Rabadons over the actualizer that you mentioned. But is still a very strong Rise here on this Baron push. And Zero Domain Zari, it has had some moments, right? It has won them some fights, and I mean, one of his more iconic champions, especially after last DMV, we know what he can do on this pick. It's just going to be a bit more difficult to find value and assassinate one of these members on the side of SPS in the Siege.
Yeah, we really have to question this Ari pick, as Hide on Bush will just start running us straight into the tidal wave already.
Yeah, Zero's going to flash charm, but he whiffs. He doesn't find a thing, as now the Ornhorn is going to try to get something back, but it's Luke Kills that finds the first kill, and he'll find the second as well. Now we're going to Realm Warp everyone in. Rex is trying to flash away. He's the sole bit of damage remaining, but they're just diving on through without a care in the world. There's nothing Rexes can do in the face of SPS. Another quadra kill for Luke Killers. And that should be it for game 1.
Oh my god, Shiv. Non-stop fighting between the second an enemy champion was within 500 units of Hide on Bush. He just pressed his R button and ran straight in. Good stuff from them. Both these comps pretty easy to execute, and I love the theme that has been coming out so far from both these teams as SPS take game 1.
Yeah, nearly a kill a minute for both teams. But it is SPS to rule the day, at least from game number 1. Great performance from Cyrac, and especially from just like his front line of making so much space. Do credit Dr. Patient coming in as the sub, landing some critical. Ornn ults, finds that initial pick onto Rex's that snowballs into the Baron and into the eventual win.
Yeah, I'm gonna be excited to see how these teams adapt to game two with so many priority champions being gone, and on top of that, so much big focus being on the mid and jungle bans. You called it in game one that Arya looked really out of place, so I'm really curious to see where their priorities are lying for champ select in game two, and if they'll choose to change things up, if they'll early pick their mid, if they'll choose blue or red. They something's got to be a little bit different for their game plan this time.
We'll see if they can figure it out as the Big Bad Chuds will be fighting for their tournament lives coming up as we take a short break before getting into game number 2. We are back for game 2 here between Soy Kittle and Big Back Chud. Soy Kittle getting that game 1 victory and now getting the extra assistance of subbing Kittle back in the support role. Camper, valiant effort, or valiant win. I don't know why I'm saying effort. He won the game. But will be 1 sub out now for the side of SPS. Bans pretty much the same as what we saw last time around. We'll see how SPS wants to navigate the first pick.
Yeah, not many jungle options are available for the side of SPS. They might have to pick Kha'Zix early. Yunara, perfectly good too for Soy Blake. A great blind pick, a great AD carry. Good pick in this current meta. Kha'Zix really the only notable champion for Hiram Bush. You did mention the Wukong. Has played Zyra and Lilia before, but other than that, not really super notable options for jungle, especially if it drops to phase 2, then they're really going to be pinched. So we'll see if SPS opts to take one.
It looks like the Chuds are going to elect to actually go with a lot more priority on that mid lane, especially given how much it got pinched in phase 2 last time. They had the early Orianna and the Ezreal into the Yunara.
Yeah, I like the Ezreal pick here. Stable bot laner, can always choose to go even or farm safely. A decent pick into Yunara as well. And Zero Domain really dropping the gauntlet and saying nothing you play beats Orianna, so I'll just pick it for Luke Killers. And Luke Killers responds with the Syndra. I think in his pool, probably the best answer he has. But to me, this is a skill matchup that spans generations of mid lane gameplay. We've seen this countless times in countless metas. And you did mention the Wukong, and there it is. Pretty great pairing with any sort of control mage as well. They have a lot of burst, especially with Hideout Bush favoring these lethality style builds. I believe last time he went Profane Hydra first on Wukong. So a lot of front-loaded damage for this mid-jungle duo.
Yeah. Well, you want to know why the priority was put on the Orianna? That is it right there. The Malphite probably in the jungle for Dundee. Could be flex the top. I think jungle gives you perfectly good playmaking. You do need to avoid the Wukong a bit, but very good wombo, very good combo there for Orianna and Malphite. And they can ban away a lot of the champions that would try to protect the Yunara from that wombo.
Yeah, I like Malphite into Wukong too. Wukong's biggest issue is dealing with tanks. Mundo being gone, Silent being gone. So that means the best tank available left in jungle is Malphite, and is absolutely great at stonewalling Wukong. So great pickup. I don't think they're gonna have to ban Silas, with mid jungle being locked in, and I doubt that SPS would choose to just blind Silas solely for that role. Or sorry, Silas top solely for the role of stealing unstoppable force.
Hey, it could be Silas support. We could get a Silas support. Okay, we can't rule that one out.
You're so right. You're so right. The flex picks should.
Exactly. But now we're away on to R4, and I think you're very likely going to just see a decent support pairing. Karma, Bard taken off the board are some of the more standard pairings for the Ezreal, as you know, I think Rakan kind of comes to mind as a default champion that potential 5 could pick, but nope, they're going to go ahead and just take the Volley Bear, likely for the side of Flays, but I guess we still got some flexibility between top and jungle.
Yeah, this B4 flex, or sorry, R4 flex, super powerful. Especially for the jungle and top positions, as Silas blind actually is going to be locked. If this goes top lane, he is going to have a nightmare laning against Volibear, and I highly doubt that is going to go in the support position, but we will see. I don't know. We might have jinxed it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Peish, I think, like you said, I don't expect that lane to be good at all. And I don't expect it to be Kittle taking the Silas either. I think Milio definitely makes sense as something somewhat protective for this Yunara. I don't think you're going to really be able to abuse the range of the Milio the same way you would for like a Lucian or for a Kog'Maw. Just really, you just want to make sure this Yunara stays safe. And Silas, yeah, well, we will be seeing it top side, but now last support pick over to Camper to see what he wants to pick up. Or excuse me, not to Camper.
To kind of dislike. Yeah, I kind of dislike the Emilio here. All of the CC on the side of Big Back Chuds is knockups, except for that volley Q. Which, like, are you really gonna? I mean, yeah, you probably will cleanse it, but literally everything is knockup. So like, there's nothing really to cleanse, and your only peel then is the soccer ball, right? Which I guess is fine, but if you're picking your support to peel, then Milio is not really the option. You pick Milio to cleanse something, right? So not really a lot of value out of this champion this game. I guess maybe you can cleanse the quickness too. But yeah, I kind of disliked Emilio here. If anything, I would have liked to see something that can counter engage. Um, because once Malphite all ins, that's your chance to stop the follow up. They have to all in on Malphite ult every time in order to win, right? That's how Malphite works as a champion. If you don't do anything off the ult, you kind of just lose because Malphite doesn't do anything other than that. Um, so yeah, I would have liked to see like another champion that can engage or re-engage.
Yeah, I will say, we do have confirmation that you know, uh, Bread is very yummy. Not the only one that can take the Wukong top side. So it is Wukong top, Silas jungle, there for Hide on Bush.
Interesting. I when Wukong used to be a top laner, I feel like he was not bad into Volibear too. But it's been ages. But did we get confirmation that it's Volibear top?
I suppose not.
I mean, they
We'll
could throw
see.
the Silas top. Yeah, these damn flex picks is ruining the game.
Sure, we'll put it that way. But yeah, we've talked a bit about what these champs can do, some of the weaknesses, some of the stuff we feel like they're not gonna do as well as possible other picks. Where are you leaning now that we see the full five on both sides?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this one plays out. Last time that we watched SPS play, they really all in on these press R and go in style comps. And I felt like that was their identity. But now it's kind of the opposite. The zero domain team really has these press R and go in comps, whereas the side of SPS just want to play their game. They want to absorb the engage. They want to find their picks. They don't really want to just all in on one target and play 5v5 like that. Silas, Wukong, Yunara, all very strong individual champions that ate and use space well, but can't really just all in on a single target.
Fair. We'll see if that engage from the big back chuds with the Oriana, Rakan, Malphite, and all that over the top is enough to even up the series. Take a short break before game number 2. We start our game 2 off with Hide on Bush trying to get a bit of cheese, but SPS looking to close the deal and get that ticket to finals. Big Back Chuds playing the Malphite Oriana Wombo to see if that can get them to even us up and send us to a game number 3.
Now I feel like a lot of action will be mid this game. A lot of focus will be on stabilizing or pushing advantages around this mid 2v2. It's not going to be super favorable for the side of Silas Syndra. As soon as Zero Domain picks up those Merc Treads, I feel like I have a lot of value. I guess Merc Tread's pretty good for Luke Killers too. But it's much harder to kill someone off of a Silas chain than Unstoppable Force, right? So Luke Killers and Zero Domain will be the focal point for this matchup, in my opinion. I have no idea how this top lane goes, though. We see Ignite, a lethal tempo for Flaze.
Yeah, the Volibear will definitely like some of these long trades up there and having the extra kill pressure from the Ignite. We do see Hide on Bush doing 3 camps into a recall. This isn't going to matter all too much since Malphite's going to the other side, so he's not going to really contest over a crab after he finishes his remaining 3. But he's got that Dark Seal up and ready to go.
Yeah, so we do see the junglers are both paths opposite of each other, which is pretty fair. And it makes a lot of sense. We'll see not a lot happening, and as soon as both junglers are aware of what's going on, I feel like they probably are aware with the word being dropped in the red side jungle already. Great stun onto Dr. Patient to extend that trade, and we can see the lethal tempo doing a lot of work.
The entrance trying to get in there from potential 5 as Rex's gets some good peppering damage off, but now Summoner's getting dropped in bot as Rex is out of mana. Soyblake and Kittle trying to push forward. Another super mega inferno kick to end the trading.
Yeah, and now the SPS can choose to let the wave push into them here, but Soyblake is choosing to push out when they know that their junglers paths away from them, so they're going to make the lane a little bit volatile here. Both combat sums burned away. If Potential 5 chooses, he can flash onto Soyblake and force the flash away from Soyblake, but looks like things will just stay even here.
Yeah, another knock up onto Kittle, but now Soyblake going to try to push forward. A lot of slow in from the Slurkle as Rex is down low. Potential 5 is just killed off for first blood. Dry in the 2v2.
Yeah, well played from Soyblake. It was a bit of a mess up from Rex's. You can't burn all of your mana early as Ezreal. It's really taxing to use that Arcane Shift early game. It's like 70 or 90 mana, which is like almost a fourth, maybe probably more than that. So you saw when he shifted in at level 2, he didn't get a lot of value out of it, and that's not something you want to be doing often as Ezreal. Even if you have the winning trade, so as per se, you didn't, with no tier, Ezreal cannot get a lot of value out of these trades early game, and probably even loses more if you burn your mana like that. And we could see this Yunar just takes advantage of extended trades like that. So well played from Soyblake to recognize it.
Yeah, the Milio also helping to extend that auto range, put in a good bit more pressure. We were a bit skeptical of this pairing. Didn't see it good enough for peeling late. Didn't see it good enough for maybe some aggression early that it can do with Lucian, but they are certainly off to a nice start as action in mid lane as Lucas got down very low, but Potential 5 is there to cover. Make sure Silas doesn't get anything too important done.
Yeah, we can see Zero Domain doesn't have teleport, but even without it is establishing such control over this mid lane. So throwing down the gauntlet in draft, saying that Luke Killers can't beat him on Ori with anything, looks to have been the correct move so far.
Now, Lucas, having already burned his own TP, is not going to be in Rust Spot, but now Flash Shockwave in! And Luke Killers is solo killed for a second game in a row during lane phase.
Yeah, Zero Domain just proving to be the superior lane player. Well played from him, and good on them to recognize their strength in the draft. Being able to blind pick mid that early and not be punished is pretty huge.
But no, Flaze is going to get caught out here by a Flash Cyclone. Nice buffer there on the Stormbringer, but still has to burn the
Oh,
Flash. Both top laners using that Summoner as Potential needs to peel back, takes a tower shot in return, but action on top, nothing doing just yet.
that was super well played by Flaze. You can tell he intentionally uh played in that way so he can flash the second Cyclone and make sure that he lived. It was super well timed. That Stormbringer to buffer that
Oh,
chain
Dundee
and
at
make
the
sure he get out
flash,
of
and he
blue
gets
killer.
the secure on the dragon. I don't know how Lou Killer's found himself here. He'll try dropping the Unleash power for nothing, and it is a dragon secure for the Malphite.
Yeah, can we get a replay ship? I wonder what happened there. How was he stuck in the pit by himself?
I
Did he get
imagine
chased
Lou
there?
Killers saw he was low, decided to flash in and try to combo the Malphite, and then died. Much like Potential 5 and Rex's, don't want to die down here, so they burn the heal. Soy Blake and Kittle definitely getting the better thus far in the lane. And Zero Domain continues to build his own CS lead as well.
Yeah, this Ori 2 kills up, 17 CS up. Don't look at the Ori CS number. But Zero Domain is kind of running the game a little bit now. We said that the focal point will be around these mid laners, but hide on bush.
Yeah, nice stolen quickness to try to get them into the bot lane play, but they don't have enough damage, even with the Yunara ult, to kill anyone. More scrapping in top lane as the Splitting Sky shield helping Flaze up, but Dr. Patient's going to re-engage. Arc of Ruin plus an auto as Soy Blake finds the kill. And meanwhile, topside Flaze gets in. The Frenzy auto finishes the job. I don't know if that's exactly how the Animal Kingdom goes with, Bear and Monkey, but Flaze getting the better of it right now.
Yeah, he's countered in real life. The bear is beating the monkey up, and this flex Wukong not really looking too hot so far. That ignite wasn't even up. Oh, but Unstoppable Force, he's just dead.
Yeah, and this is why I'm a bit concerned about Lou Killer's blowing a flash to maybe kill the Malphite, because then that will happen instantly, and there will be a lot more lost to losing that alongside an entire mid wave. Like the patients from Dun, they're just saying, yeah, this guy's got no flash. Minute he shows, we're ulting him, we're killing him, and we're continuing to grow the lead in mid lane.
Yeah, Big Mac Chud's just doing psychological damage to Blue Killers, man. They're just dangling candy in front of him constantly, and then just catching him, hooking him. What's that? Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, there you go.
Reeling him in every time. Yep.
Yeah,
Even in game one too.
I was gonna say, to be fair, Blue Killer's game one did not start out so hot, and he picked up 2 quadra kills by the end of it, alongside a victory. So maybe it's all according to plan for the Blackfire Torch. An early completion for sure for Zero Domain. Haven't seen the mid jungle of Lucas and Hanabush get too active. It has just kind of been the bot lane of Soy Blake and Kittle being the saving grace right now. But Zero gonna get scattered. Abduct is shorted by Hide on Bush. And now he's gonna take a good bit of damage on the way out. Zero Domain did have to burn the ghost, but he is more than happy to stay alive.
Yeah, Ghost to live there so worth. And once he gets that Merc Treads, it's going to be even harder to gank him. So not only is this Orianna like ungankable, but she also stat checks you. So even if you do go in later on, she might live long enough for both of you to die once the Malphite shows up, or Rakan. So mid lane looking a little bit dire now.
And I do think when those Merc Trades you mentioned come in, it's going to get very difficult. Another Shockwave, almost getting another solo kill. Dundee lurking in the wings with his unstoppable force. Kittle and Soy both have flash, but they're trying to be aggressive in lane. Silas is nearby.
Yeah, the saving grace of SPS is really just Soy Blake right now. Pretty far ahead on Yunara, but Can Yunara really solo carry the game against Fed Oriana, Fed Volibear? I don't think so.
Yeah, there are definitely some tools, right, of having at least a mobility spell if you use the R on Soyblake to get away from the Unstoppable Force Shockwave combo. But from there, it will get dicey for sure. You also have Dundee completing his first item alongside the Silas. I'm interested to see where Hide on Bush tries to make some action because typically, at least when we see Silas in the mid lane, he is a champion that very much wants these early skirmishes. He wants to take these weird jungle fights, get on the map. Silas jungle right now has not been able to do much of that. He is operating with 2 losing lanes, and the lane that is winning has no CC really to set him up. So curious to see how Heidenbush tries to approach and look for opportunities like this possible one in top lane.
Classic bush gank. Not coming to fruition. Though the cross map dragon is all but guaranteed to Big Bag Chuds now. They're starting to stack up drags of their own, 2 under their belts. 30 CS lead in mid, and quest completed already for Zero Domain. Also, Luke Killer is going Ionian Boots here, which I guess he's kind of too poor for Merc Treads. So makes sense. But there's just a whole world of stat difference now between these mid laners.
Yeah, and now flash in from Dr. Patient, flash out from Flaze. Last bit of the Cyclone, not going to be able to find him on the stick, and now he's under the tower. Way. The storm comes down, and Flaze finds another kill. The stolen Stormbringer is able to get the return kill, but now plays in bot side. As Soyblake just going aggressive onto Rexes. Here comes Rakan, able to kite that one out, but Dundee is just walking him down. Lands the Seismic Shard into the R. Soyblake's going to try to flash away, but the Zeke's slowing him up. They can't get the rock off him. Does get another dash and a nice arc of ruin as they're kiting it out nicely for now. Rexes and Dundee looking for maybe some more abilities, but Soyblake and Kittle burn every summoner in the book, but survive.
That was so well played by Soyblake. Should have been a guaranteed kill, but he dodged out on 2 separate W's from Rakan, one of which was the ult W. So that was so well played. The absolute most necessary movement he needed to live. And they absorbed the Malphite ult, which means Luke Killers can live another minute and a half until that thing is up, and now Rex just almost goes down.
Gets aggressed on under the tower. They don't get enough damage onto Soyblake, but meanwhile in mid, Zero Domain is just bullying Luke Killers on repeat. Doesn't even need the Malphite at this point, like you say. But definitely would have liked to see a bit more from that second Malphite ult. Still definitely well played to Soyblake. We will have Triforce now completed for Rexes as he builds his way up in this game.
Yeah, I can't really see Soyblake living one of these Unstoppable Force Shockwave combos. But until the point where he is just one top, the game is really on him. And they really need a snowball or
another Shockwave in mid, but Zero Domain this time. There is some support for Luke Killers, but Potential 5 plays it beautifully, gets in the charm, gets in the shield, and so Zero Domain does have to burn his summon, but he does live.
Yeah, Henry, buy your support a drink tonight, bro. What a hero for quickness from Potential. Gets him out of that dicey situations. Both sums burned off Zero Domain, though, so that's pretty huge. Maybe Hide on Bush can steal the Unstoppable Force or the quickness to get onto Zero Domain, but those Merc Treads are still doing wonders. It's 15 minutes in now. Luke Killers doesn't even have Blackfire yet. Meanwhile, Zero Domain is already starting. It looks to be Cosmic Drive. So this Ori, almost a full item up at this point of the game now. Pretty scary.
Absolutely. We will see Luke Killers at least get the quest completion to match the boots. I do think, like you say, the empowered Merc Treads are very good in this game, but Hide on Bush is going to find a pick on top side and this time without Flash, there's not going to be much opportunity for Volibear to escape. But Soyblake also gets caught out in bot side. He got hit by a rock, I am sure. But it is 1-for-1 across the map. It's at mid tower. The extra prize for the Chuds.
Yeah, that's kind of rough to see. Weak siding. I guess Soyblake was mid, but he was on his way to mid. So they were forcing Soyblake into a pretty bad situation in the middle of rotation. As they start up this Herald here.
I mean, they don't have
Soyblake might be able to
force. It's
combine
going to get
time.
dicey as the W misses from potential 5. Lucas, though, still taking a lot of damage to scatter back, but Rexes gets over it and gets the last auto for the kill. Meanwhile, topside, Hide on Bush takes out the Rift Herald to get something going for the side of SPS.
Yeah, 0-4 now for the Luke Killers. Dying on the weak side is never a great thing to see, especially for Age when there's really no pressure onto you. You had Tribrush warded. All you had to do was just play far from the river so Rakan
But now
can't
they're just
reach you.
full sending it with everything. Flash, stolen ult, and Hide on Bush gets the exact person they need. That big shutdown, and right as the dragon's on the map.
Yeah, there should be a dragon over to them too. It doesn't look like FaZe is moving. He has that unlocked teleport. So as soon as Luke Killer shows top, perhaps they might go for this.
And Dundee does have the Malphite ult, but I think they wisely say, hey, our Fed members off the map. Let's chill for now. Let's just push it in on our waves.
Yeah, it looks like the game will just be evened up now. Oh my god. Luke
But
Killer.
the bear is hunting up something on top side. Potential 5 finds the enemy mid once again. And Lucas, it is getting much worse before it seems to be getting better.
Yeah, this one I feel bad for him, man. They're just hunting for him. The psychological damage is continuing to occur. And this guy has nowhere safe on the map to farm, it looks like. Everywhere that his team is not there, the enemy team will just strike him down.
Absolutely. Do like to see potential 5 getting active, getting to these side lane plays to punish Lucas. This time they get his flash off, which means, yeah, oh my, they're going to do it again. They're going to go for him again. No, he just got, oh. It's despair. It's despair all around for Luke Killers on the 06, trying to match the Griffin scoreline as here comes Hide on Bush.
Ooh.
Shockwave doesn't find its mark from the south, but Zero Domain playing with fire a bit here, has his Malphite to block the abduct. Kittle and Soyblake are on their way. Hide on Bush looking to get the damage down. Zero Domain without much mana, can't kite it out forever, and Soyblake is there to put an end to the mid jungle of BBC.
Soyblake and Hide on Bush doing everything in their power to carry this 2,000-ton weight in the mid lane, and they are doing so just as well, picking up gold on that turret. So injecting gold into this Sylas and Inara is everything you need at this point of the game. Keep them strong, keep them ahead of the curve, and you'll still be able to fight most things. As now Luke Killers finally can get a wave uncontested.
Beautiful, beautiful. You love to see it. But yeah, we're seeing Hide on Bush's Sylas now getting a good bit of work done. Of course, we'll have very powerful ults that he will not whiff in the upcoming fights. But even then, once Orion and Malphite burned their ults, there wasn't much they could do to kind of buy the space they needed against Sylas in that straight-up skirmish. So you can see the power of the Sylas just dashing in and out, weaving in the passive autos there. Is a bit of a gold lead for the side of the Predator Slayers. And 2 minutes until that next dragon on the map. What are you looking for here out of the teams before that comes up?
Well, one thing is absolutely necessary. Hide on Bush needs to get that unstoppable force or quickness. Without either of them, I don't think the fight is winnable. They don't win a front to back at this point in the game. Dr. Patient and FaZe have not really participated in any of these 4v4s, but I don't think either of them are influential enough really turn the tide extremely hard. Blaze just needs to kind of be there to help his team win it. And Dr. Patient, of course, if he can find a flank angle or find a pick, then obviously that'd be the best course of play. But engaging in a straightforward fight is not should not be their game plan. They really need to play from multiple angles, give Yunara space, and the killer's just gotta make some magic happen or something, or at least the killer's just gotta not stand next to Soyblade because they know that all the eyes are on him right now. So that's all that this Cinder gotta do.
Yeah, at least spread out. At least maybe, you know, combo the Rakan, hit him with an unleashed power as he's flying out, trying to disengage, you know. But right now, it is going to be the Chuds with control over the river. Hide on Bush and Kittle moving through to clear out some of that vision. We do have Rexes, at least on 2 items, as potential slinks away from the chains. So 2 items on both 80 carries. The Hide on Bush did get that Seeker's Arm Guard. Unlocks a good bit more playmaking now that he has that stasis. Blaze has walked down as we're ready to rumble over this dragon.
Yeah, Hide Bush having the Rift Maker too, really huge for this fight. He hasn't taken an ulti yet, so he's gonna try and get the maximum amount of time available to hold an ult. And we see he does take that unstoppable force.
Now he's just gonna go right in onto the bot lane, but the response from the Dundee Malphite, they find 2 immediately. Soyblake is dead, and now Hide on Bush, trying to be the hero, has to go golden against the entrance from Rakan, but Zero Domain and Flaze are still hunting. They're still on the chase, as, you know, he's gonna call it a quit there as the Q runs out. But even with the unstoppable force, the original is just better because it has a Rakan and a Volibear and a Orion on top of it. We're going to leave that part out. But now onto the dragon they go as Dr. Patient and the rest of SPS looking for a way in. Hide on Bush. Can he find a smite steal? His ult is back up. He's able to steal away the shockwave. Patient now trying to make some space here. But the front line is very tanky. Lucio is able to TP on in. They're going to try to blow up someone. The shockwave brings Flaze back in. He is very tanky, though, and Dr. Patient almost dies. It is going to be that kill taken off the back half, and now Hide on Bush wants more. Dundee tanks up the Abduct, but he's going to flash, and oh, the Guardian helps everyone survive, but Hide on Bush takes another Abduct in. Can they kill anyone off as Rex is back? The unstoppable force is back! And Shockwave onto Soyblake as he's trying to find something. The Grumper is even getting involved, but the Yunara chasing down the stragglers. Arc of Ruin cancels the back, but it doesn't give an indicator. So Soyblake, he starts the play getting wombo comboed, and he comes in to be the last survivor.
You know, somehow the fights are lasting longer in this game than the last one. The Killers died twice in a single fight. And Hide Bush probably healed 2 times the amount of health bars that he has currently. That being said, as soon as Healing Cut is purchased from the side of Big Bag Chuds, that will be cut dramatically. But Dragon going over to Big Bag Chuds, but the gold going over to Soy Kittle Predator Slayers, they're able to collect some shutdowns, and the Yunara was able to take some gold from that mid turret. So overall, still a very playable game for both sides.
I'm gonna have a stroke. Like that fight going on for so long that we get like another round of Silas ulti. All right, he can definitely just take someone else's ult. His own Abduct is on a pretty short cooldown, but he's gonna look now with the stolen Malphite ult. Potential 5 is gonna play defense with his own quickness. Dundee and Flaze around as well. But yeah, we get a second round of Silas ulti. That makes sense. Understandable. Second round of Malphite ulti at the end. Definitely not as expected. But I do want to also shout out Dundee for keeping pace with the Silas in the farm department. Given that Silas can definitely run away with a power clear. Especially given how Bush has focused on his camps throughout this game. He's gone for like maybe 1 gank in that early stage. On top side, and Dundee, despite being a bit more active in that early game, staying even in farm helps to have a mid laner that was so far ahead to prevent yourself from getting invaded, but still Malphite gonna be working up towards that now completed Kanik Rooker to make him a bit more tanky up against the Silas that he is consistently trying to block chains and everything from.
Yeah, and a lot of credit going over to Hide on Bush for this game too. Just an absolutely phenomenal team fighter. He doesn't have the aggro that Soyblake and Luke Killers have, right? The whole enemy team is watching these two range champions step up in the slightest, ready to send their go buttons on him. So Hide on Bush is making the most of that and doing everything he can with the space that he's afforded himself as Unstoppable Force.
Yeah, they're going to find a pick in the side lane. Luke Killers not able to do too much. Redemption heal is nice, but I mean, there's not enough damage from the Volley Bear. 4 members of SPS get on down here. Dundee, though, is looking. Malphite has the ball on him. Good flash out from Luke Killers as Soyblake did pop the ult, as did Potential 5, who now needs to get away. So everyone pressing R, but only 1 member is on the floor.
Yeah, I just noticed Luke Killers has Proto Belt. This is a relatively common thing on the most recent patch. We've seen champs like Aurora and Ari are building it. The HP and ability haste are really, really fantastic right now compared to some of the other items in the game. I don't know how much they really value the dash part of it, but the pure stats and gold are really efficient for these kind of champions that have a lot of playmaking. So Luke Killer's taking the creative liberties and applying it onto another champion. I like it. I don't know how good it is at all, but I like the adaptation.
We'll have the opportunity to show how much work it can get done. You know, even defensively, the Proto Belt dash can be pretty useful. I don't know how much when it's a big rock. I don't think you're going to quite cover enough distance there, but, you know, can maybe slip away from a final Mystic shot or build some space against the Volley Bear. Now 20 seconds until the dragon spawns. It is Cloud Soul on the menu for Big Back Chud. Soyblake just now getting deployed from base. He has 4 items. This Yunara can absolutely take over the fight if she is not dealt with by the rock wave of Dundee and Zero Domain.
Yeah, all summoners available except for Luke Killer's Flash. So Soyblake has to be so extremely sharp this fight.
Yeah, Hide on Bush going to get engaged on to start off. Scatter goes wide as there's the ulti only onto 1. Now Rakan providing a lot of peel. Shockwave isn't going to do much as Malphite flies into the back line. Rex's is safe. Soyblake, though, is under a lot of pressure. He's able to survive through it for now as Dundee is getting peeled away. He's got to retreat. Hide on Bush looking for the last bit of damage. Has the stasis to prevent himself from dying. Kittle even tanks up an Ezreal combo and flashing out from the Orianna damage. Massive true shot barrage. It's Hide on Bush to take away the dragon, deny the soul. Now Soyblake evades the quickness, but he's still gonna fall. Rex is trying to shift on forward, but Hide on Bush has enough distance. The stolen true shot barrage is not gonna find any kills. It is 2v2 on the map, but importantly, the soul was not taken.
Banger alert, Shiv! This game is delivering. Both teams are just punching and kicking and using everything in their arsenals to stay afloat. I love how Hide on Bush played that fight. Even though the Unstoppable Force was a little bit suboptimal, everything that followed was perfect. He immediately refocused on peeling Soyblake, going straight on to Malphite and using everything. Yes, Malphite is obviously the suboptimal target for him, but it's important to just commit on to their front line. And Dr. Patient was able to CC 3 people up with that Cyclone, giving up his life, but absorbing the full aggro of Orianna and Ezreal. So they were able to trade out their front lines more effectively than Big Back Chuds. And then the clutch steal, or not steal, but the clutch secure once Dundee was dead. Huge secure stalling out the soul. And eventually, Soyblake had a really critical dodge on one Rakan W that got him the trade kill for Zero Domain to keep the fight even at the very end. So close. These fights are on knife's edges.
This is what you want to see from some of these top teams. With all these AoE abilities on both sides, making sure you get the best use out of it. As now plays in top side, FaZe is going to go down, and there's not much the Malphite's going to do about it. The Silas in the scrap is exactly where he wants to be. as this time the side lane pick will favor the side of the Chuds.
Hide on Bush, just getting it done. Everywhere he goes, he is establishing his dominance. And he just takes the Stormbringer, doesn't even need the Malphite ult there to win that 2v2. This Volibear is not really super threatening, and now Baron will be started for Silk Predator Slayers.
Potential 5 is going to go sniffing, but I don't think there's much that can be done. Rex's is far. Zero Domain is far. The last True Shot Barrage not going to steal it. So it will be Baron being worn by the side of by the side of the Soy Kittle Predator Slayers.
Super huge for them. More important for them to deny it from PVC, but wearing it is always the best thing. All 5 members have it too, so they're able to use the full extent of the Baron map pressure. And we'll have to see, will they default back to 5v5? I feel like they can just win in a straight up 5v5 now. This Wukong is a little bit more threatening. Rex's is not super strong anymore. Yes, this Ezreal is 4 items, but Ezreal at 31 minutes in the game is nothing compared to this Yunara as Unstoppable Force stolen again.
Yeah, and Dundee can't really kite this out forever. He's forced to use the Unstoppable Exit. Will at least have that up for the dragon fight, but his camps will be mostly taken by the side of SPS.
Yeah, just absolutely huge props to Soy Blake and Hide on Bush. They've been phenomenal team fighters this game.
The siege with the Baron will go down as it is now a 6k almost gold lead for the side of SPS. As there's the combo from Hide on Bush. Gets right in on top of the Orianna. Now Soy Blake flashing in. He's got nothing to fear. It's looking like a clean fight wipe. A triple to Soy Blake's Yunara. And that is going to be the play that sends SPS to finals.
Hats off to Hide on Bush and Soy Blake. This guy has been my perennial frontrunner for MVP, and he's continuing to prove it. Even when his mid was down in the dumpster, this guy just wins out on everywhere else on the map and does everything he needs to do for his team to win. And Soy Blake knocking down the dominoes that Hide on Bush set up for him. He did everything in his power, winning this lane super hard and playing team fights as well as he could. That combination, the jungle bot, the super key important factors for SPS this game. Super well played to them.
Yeah, and it was a bit different from Hide on Bush, right? When we see him on the stuff like Jarvan, like the Kha'Zix, it's like, okay, he's blowing people up. He's getting active on the map. The Sylas was a good bit more tempered. Was waiting, biding his time until these fights where he can get those important ultimates, get onto those priority targets, and had a great game to set up his team and let Soy Blake and Kittle do the rest from there. I do also want to highlight Dr. Patient with some nice cyclones throughout that mid game, and Kittle helping to keep Soy Blake alive in that critical dragon fight where he's getting Malphite ulted and a lot of things thrown at him. That will be the last we see of the big back chuds. So A2 YOLO, Dundee, Zero Domain, Rexes, and Potential 5. We bid you adieu as not able to get past the juggernaut that it seems like SPS has become in these playoffs. Alrighty, and with that, I will I'll leave you to Dragon, whoever you decide for an interview. I will be right back.
Oh, I don't think there's anyone here anymore.
They all let unbelievable.
Hey, they took care of business and they're out of there, bro.
Another day at the office.
Another day in the office. Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Because I got flamed for not having an interview on the last one by the certain winning team. But either way, that is gonna do it then, I guess, for us today. It will be the Soy Kittle Predator Slayers facing off against the Silk Road Shaitans in our grand final. Who you got? Off the bat for that game.
This one's a hard one, bro. And this is BO5 too, right? If both teams agree.
Yep. I mean, it is just a BO5 by the rules.
Oh. I don't know. I feel like as much as I hate to say this, I feel like the Silk Road Shaitan's got it. We saw just how targeted the Circuit of Predator Slayer's jungle mid pools got. And they will do the exact same thing. Hoptech and Jason the other will just contest these pools and slam things like Ori and Malphite, and they won't give you the liberties of having the Silas in game two again. So that will be a big focal point for that match.
Absolutely. Well, we wait with bated breath for that grand finals for now. That is going to be it for us. Thank you for tuning in and good night.